Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. This is round 10, the Belgian Grand Prix. Round 10 out of 12, final 3 races. We're in qualifying. We've got 10 minutes on the clock and a lot of people on the grid. It is heating up for the final few races of the championship. Heichler versus Nifo. Heichler needs about 5 points per race to be able to beat Nifo here if he wants to make it work. He could do a 4 points plus 5 points plus 5 points, and I think they'd win it by 1 point in the end, but they'd have to at least get 5-5-5. If they get any less than the 4-5-5, then it's not going to look good. So basically, on average, Heichler needs 5 points ahead of Nifojan. We do welcome back Zingy in onto the grid for well, it's been a long time since he last raced. He's in the Haas reserving today, which is good to see. Currently, we have got the man on form, Sir Maxon, who has been on pole position last time around in Saudi Arabia, doing a very good job, and of course performing quite well in F1.5 EU as well, looking to try and take that championship over there too. They do have a lot of cars behind them, so they've got to try and make sure that they all filter through one another, but I don't believe any of those cars are going to be on laps, unless that is Vixal, who is actually in theory on a lap. It is, but they are, I don't know if they're improving or not. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, it's a very long circuit. I don't know if we're going to get any rain. If we do, it could be late on in the race, but I don't believe we will get any. We'll see how it goes, but I wanted to say a long circuit. It's going to be a difficult one regarding getting lap times in. You don't have that long to do outlaps and inlaps because by the time that's happened, then you've run out of time. So it's a very, very difficult one for qualifying. There's a lot of pressure on all of the drivers. We'll see how it goes. But currently a few people starting the laps, and we will go on board with the current pole sitter, a 41.713. They have a decent gap. We'll just quickly look at the gap to the next car. It is 1.5 tenths that they've got to the rest of the field. So really feeling quite strong at the moment. Heichler will then be going next, so we'll see what the top two can do. Then we have both Haases, both reserve drivers, Zingy and Frantic. Also reserving is Ticey. We have Jurko, Willis, Vixal, Passoon, and that is all the reserves. Everyone else is a permanent driver. Sir Maxon currently is a reserve driver, actually, I should say. Currently looking to improve in the first chicane. They improve by just about 0.5 tenth, just shy of it, and they go through. It's a very difficult one through Malmedy. They go down the hill into the hairpin, trying not to get an under rotation on the inside tyre, then open up the steering on exit. They'll go through No Name Corner, and on the throttle at the earliest possible moment. It's all about carrying the momentum through there and the exit. Pouon, maybe you go up to 8th, maybe you stay in 7th. They stay in 7th. It should be flat in qualifying. It looks like it was pretty flat. It was just a little bit ropey. It always will be, with the downforce that these cars are forced to run pretty low for the amount of corners that we have to go through. And then Stavolo on the exit, don't want to get in the gravel. They're on the edge, just wiggling the car around. And now they've got a long old straight. They've got a lot of cars to try and clear. They move out the way very, very well, just about. Now we've got Blanchimont, and then they will come into the final bus stop chicane to finish off this lap. We'll see what they can do. Here we go, braking just before the 100-meter board and making the apex, riding over the sausage curb. DRS available. What's it going to be for Sir Maxon? It is going to be a 4/10 improvement, a 41.308, and that is a decent lap time with 6 minutes on the clock. More time to go again. They're going to be happy with that one. It will be tight to get another lap in, but it's not impossible. That is still a very, very good lap in. Right now, a lot of margin for other cars to try and catch up. And as I say that, I was just going to say other cars might invalidate. Heichler has invalidated their run. They would have improved by 4 tenths as well. So they would have been right up there. But unfortunately, they're not. And they're going to have to go into the pit lane and come out for one final run. I'm interested in the fact that they completed that lap. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was, unless they're looking to try and stay on this tyre and go again. That's possible. Maybe they're saving those tyres for the race. We don't know, we'll find out later on. Ticey does seem to be maybe doing such a thing and saving the tyres for the race. They're on 4-lap-old soft tyres, which aren't going to get any quicker at any point as they move out the way there for Nifo, who is going through the rest of the circuit, currently sitting P8 and looking to try and improve as they go through down into the hairpin of turn 8. And on the exit to 9, No Name Corner, which doesn't have a name, but we all call it No Name. So it's got a no name. It is called No Name. And then into Puon, as it's very, very difficult to get done, but they managed to navigate it nicely. In the race, it's going to be a bit more of a tricky one. It's where I lasted my race around here and got the most track limits. That is the corner, with the ability to almost take it flat but not quite. It's so easy to get wrong. The setup scenario around this circuit as well can also determine whether you're going to get track limits, whether your car can hold on or not to the limit, and that will be a difficult one. It will be difficult for race pace as well, overtaking, not overtaking, qualifying and not qualifying. Whether you'll go either way on the direction of the setup, I don't know. That's going to be Nifo going straight into the pit lane entry and backing off on that lap, going again in a few moments' time if they can, of course. Now, as I was saying, the setup can be very, very tricky around this circuit, and there's a lot of different ways you can go. You can go higher downforce, you can go lower downforce. They have their benefits, they have their disadvantages. I'm just having a quick look. Just checking a second. Alrighty, I do apologise. Now, we currently have Charlie and Tom Rob not setting, Charlie not setting laps at the moment. JJ, Tom Rob at the back, very close to one another though, could possibly beat each other in this session, and that is going to be Frantic starting their final run. Oh no, that is so devastating. They're going to have to, well, I don't know what they're doing. They're getting it into reverse gear and they'll be able to go again. They've got 3 minutes on the clock, but they're very, very, very lucky that they didn't have any more issues. That's Tom Rob retiring in the pit lane. And leaving the session, so we'll try and see what's going on, but I do apologise. We continue, and hopefully Tom can get back in this lobby and get in for the race, but unfortunately that will be their qualifying complete. Zingy retires in the pit lane. That's their qualifying done. They will start P2 or lower, as they did improve, and I'm sorry that I didn't acknowledge that earlier on. But Frantic is currently on their final kind of outlap. They go for one more just to see how it will go. We have got Igor. Are they on a lap? They're warming up for one final lap. Vixau currently P13, and they are going for a lap. We'll see what they can do as they'll cross the sector line in a few moments' time, and then we will go and see who else is going to be on a lap at some point, of course. It looks like Maxon will be the next one to start a lap. I say that soon, actually, it would be. So we'll go straight to the Alpine teammate to see what they can do there. As they go through the sector line, what's it going to be for Vixau? They improve by half a tenth. That would not put them ahead of their teammate, but it would definitely allow them to catch up a little bit. Can they find that extra bit in the final chicane here in the bus stop? That would be incredibly nice in these closing stages where everything starts to heat up. Final braking zone for the Alpine. What's it going to be for Vixau as they make it through the left-hand corner? Turn 19, DRS available, and it's going to be not enough to get their teammate, and they actually don't improve in the end. We've got Bassoon looking to try and improve. It seems as if they're dead on their time at the moment, so both Alpine struggling to find that final few bits and the very final few laps, but Bassoon, maybe they have a bit more in this second and third sector. Can we find Bassoon up the order? Multiple race winner in the F1 tier, multiple race winner, and the F1.5 EU champion as well. They have a lot of success. They go purple. They go 3/10 up on their current time, which would put them on a 42.5, even of 0.4. That would still only put them P9, so that even though they've gone purple, they still need to find a little bit more time. That purple time may have just been towards the car ahead, so I do apologise for getting the hopes up there. They go through the final chicane. What's it going to be for Bassoon to end off qualifying? Peanuts finishes their session. It's going to be P5 as they find an extra 3/10 or 3/10 in the end. That is an awesome job right there for Bassoon to make it that position. Simaxon finishes the session. They do not improve. We have got the next few cars. That is a Mercedes going across the line. Charlie sets their only lap and goes P2. Absolutely incredible. A 41.333. Brilliant, brilliant job right there from Charlie. We will get Frantic, who has invalidated on their current lap time. So it is your championship contender here, going into the bus stop chicane. Can they look to try and challenge for the front row? Can they push Zingy down, who retired earlier on? Will they give themselves the best chance to get back this championship lead? It's going to be a P1. Absolutely epic. And the margins are tiny. Awesome job right there from Heischler. Will anybody else be able to challenge? Nippo goes to P7 in the end. We're going to get JJ crossing the line, and then we will get the racing bull of Nabil in P12. What will Nabil be able to do as they cross the line? They are going to stay in P12 in the end. Devon Young, currently P9. They finish their session. What's it going to be for the Brit? It's going to be a P5. Lovely stuff. Ticey will finish the qualifying session to get P4 and push Zingy down the order in the end. Jericho Willis into the pit lane. Vixal currently will cross the line, and they will not be able to improve. That is qualifying, and that was incredible. Wow. P1 and P2 split by absolutely nothing. Heischler takes pole position by 0.003 seconds. Simax on P2 and Charlie in P3. This is the rest of the grid. And then we go through the race director. Once again, we don't quite know how the weather's going to go. It could possibly be raining towards the end of the race, but we will have to find out. We will have to wait and see if that happens or not. We will see in a bit for the race. Don't miss it. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Heichler on pole position. Samaxon, the outside line is available. Are they going to be able to get there? No. Heichler takes the lead. There's contact. That's going to be Charlie losing ground off the start. And Zingy gets to P3, Ticey P4. Charlie stays there. That's Niffo to P6. Devon Young in P7. Everybody trying to get their way through. Everyone seems to be close enough to one another as there's a massive drain into the Lacombe chicane. How's this one going to go? Is anyone going to challenge the leader? No, but we are going to get Zingy going to the inside line here on Samaxon, and they get an awesome move done. Samaxon not willing to fight it in the opening stages. There's Ticey almost having a look. We've got the two Mercedes going side by side as Niffo makes the move to P5. They know what they have to do, so they're getting the job done. We've got the two Aston Martins going side by side as well. What a sight to see. No one go for moves in Pouon, but we do actually see maybe JJ go for the move on the inside of Peanuts. Peanuts trying to hold it, but they go off the circuit. JJ's still going to hold on. Now they've got the outside line. Will Peanuts break late and go for it? No. They'll back off, and that will be JJ getting that position. Brilliant stuff right there. It may be for further down the order, but it's still hard battling, and it is good battling. That is the current grid, and wow, what a scene for the tyre situation. We've got strategy absolutely everywhere. Your pole sitter starts on a soft tyre, medium for Zingy, mediums for Samaxon and for Ticey. Everyone is on something completely different. We're going to get Niffo, the championship leader, making even more moves. And it's only lap one, and they're making another move. You would not think that this was the championship leader, making moves as aggressive as they are. I say aggressive, they're just making them quickly. They back off as Samaxon tries to hold on to the position. They do so. Now they've got to both try and relax, try and think about how this is going to go. Niffo needs to try and back off, make sure that they manage their race from this point onwards, because there is a long way to go. Less laps, but long distance. And that is going to be Zingy surely challenging for P1 as they go to Lacombe. Turn 6, it's not going to be, surely not. Turn 5, turn 6 and through turn 7. Zingy not quite able to make it work on the exit. They will not have a go either. That is Niffo sitting right behind in P3, almost pushing Zingy through the corner. They have an ability now to save the battery. They've got the two leading cars ahead who will be trying to maintain this race, maintaining the pace. This is brilliant for all of these guys right there. Charlie, what a shame, starting in the top 3 but down to P6 on lap 2. They just had an absolute disaster class into the first corner, and it just really made them struggle. Unfortunately, I don't quite know what happened. We'll have to look back at it later on and see what the situation was for them, but they're still in this race. They are still in this race. They need to hold on to DRS range, but as they've got that hard tyre, they are going to lose out a little bit. They're on a very alternate strategy. Peanuts is also on that strategy, and it's going to be something that will change later on. Tom, Rob and Vixar unfortunately having issues at the start of this Grand Prix. Hopefully they're all good to go a little bit later on. Frantic currently in P8 there on the soft tyre. JJ and Peanuts are still in the train as of now. They need to do a little bit more to try and get to the train. That is Nabil leaving the session, unfortunately. That is such a shame. They're still in this race and they can try and rejoin. We've got Frantic going for the move here on Pursoon. On the exit of La Source, they're not going to be able to get the job done. They were on the inside line for a moment, but they back off and they allow their fellow friend to stay ahead for now. On that medium tyre as well, everyone is travelling through. I don't think we're going to get a change for the lead. I think we might actually, as Zingy will go for it. Niffo's trying to follow on as well. Zingy goes for it. Heichler's off. Heichler is off, and he's going to have to give it up, surely. Niffo does leave the space, but Heichler still can't hold on. Wow, I do not believe it. Zingy leads on the medium tyre. Niffo is now ahead of the pole sitter, who just got a little bit too broke a little bit too late, and they are off. What a shame right there. Samaxon is looking to try and push as well. They're in a strong position with this medium tyre. They will be looking to try and make this move at some point soon. That being said, around this circuit, the softer compound tyres don't really seem to be too much of a problem. You don't wear them as quickly as you usually would do. So they might be stuck behind these guys a little bit longer than they intend to. We've got a few people, of course, breaking away, Nabil disconnecting, so losing that train. They're not exactly happy with the situation. Vixal retires. That's a safety car immediately brought out. Zingy has got no time to think about a strategy. They are going to go into the pit lane. However, Nifo goes into the pit lane. Heischler goes into the pit lane, but Charlie stays out. They're on a very different strategy. This is an interesting one. Onto the hards for Heischler. I think it's going to be onto the hards for absolutely everyone. Samaxon and Nabil will jump the pack here. Samaxon wants to try and stay ahead. Nabil also trying to claw back something from after disconnecting here. We've got a Peanuts a medium tyre. They were on the hard, so they have to go for something different, and that does mean that they are now on that medium tyre. So they're going to be looking to push quite aggressively. Everyone will bunch back up. Tom Robb will be back in this race as well. Now, after the pit stops, still a net P1, P2, P3 for Zingy, Nifo and Heischler, but the top three do make that a P4, a P5 and a P6, of course. Unfortunately, Nabil having connection issues once again, so I'm not entirely sure what is going on. Hopefully they can get that sorted and be good to go for the next one, but we will see. Just going to quickly try and help out here, but I don't know if anything will make too much of a difference. I do apologize for this. Hopefully that's all good and we are good to go. Now, I just want to quickly apologize. I had a drink of water before this race to try and make sure that my voice wasn't dry and I wasn't choking on the live stream. I ended up just choking on that water and now my voice is completely worse. So I'm trying to make sure I'm recovered. I do apologise for the momentary pauses now and again. It's getting better, I do promise. Alright, Charlie leads the way. Samaxon in P2 and Nabil in P3. Zingy, the net race leader, the first one to have pitted. They are P4. Then we got Nifo Heischler, the pole sitter. Ticey in P7. Devon Young up to P8. If you look at the grid, of course, they are doing a very good job to be there. And with the pit stop situation, they're probably in a good position. Nabil is back in this race. They've decided to go into the pit lane. So maybe they weren't actually choosing to stay out, unless this was their intention the entire time. They chose to stay out anyway and then go for an extra pit stop so they have fresher tyres. I don't quite know why that would happen, but we'll see. That is Pursoon, unfortunately, with a front wing change and having to go for a medium tyre. So I don't quite know what happened to Pursoon. Where they were, I'm not entirely sure. The last time I remember, they were around where Frantic was. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. We're going to quickly take a minute, and I will be back in a few moments' time whilst the safety car continues. This is slightly a problem. Unfortunately, we've got a disconnected car on the track. Hopefully, people don't drive into it. But yeah, that's very frustrating. And I do apologise. It seems to be floating. We're going to have to ignore that for now and hope that it doesn't become a problem. Charlie leads the way. They will be the one to restart this safety car. And Simaxon will be the one to react. Let's see how this one will go. When will they go for it? The safety car's in the pit lane. They can go at any point right now. Will they go before the chicane or after? They will go before it. And everyone's going to have to react. They lock the rears. They completely mess the exit. They're still going to have to go. They can't go for a false restart. Zingy's trying to get the jump, but it was just a little bit too much because of the slow up there from the mistake from Charlie. They're going to still send it to the inside. Oh, that's not how it was supposed to go at all. Simaxon has now lost out a lot of time to your race leader, Charlie. Simaxon has that medium tyre. They're going to try and use it to see if they can catch back up to Charlie. Zingy hopefully doesn't have damage, but it's not exactly ideal. Nifo is going to be very thankful for not being involved anymore in that than they needed to be. Zingy's going to the inside line. Nifo knows that if Zingy's making the move, he has to make it as well. But no, Zingy went for the move last minute, and it means that it's not possible. But Simaxon makes a mistake, and here will go two other cars to the inside line, and Simaxon, I don't think, will be able to challenge that back. Or will they? They still try and follow on with Heisler, but no, they will back off in overall in the end and let it happen. But losing out more, I don't think they've got damage. It just maybe isn't that the tyres can't cope. 5-lap old medium tyres, are they really that bad? I don't know if it's just momentum possibly, but Ticey goes through as well. Just so much change right there, and everyone is all mixed up. Charlie still leads the way, but it's Zingy, Nifo and Heisler in their trio right now of P2, P3 and P4, who haven't pitted, of course, so far just yet. Unfortunately, Tom has dropped back a little bit. We've got a bit of a gap with Jericho Willis and Frantic. Jericho Willis has to try and see if they can catch a little bit more to get that DRS range that will be enabled down the Kemmel Straight. If they don't do that, then it could be all game over. The two Aston Martins are going to have to try and look at that one and see if they can get anything on it. We're going to get Pursoon and Igor side by side on the exit. DRS and ERS not available for DRS, but ERS is available, and they will take that position. And Igor is not going to fight it. Tom Robb and JJ a little bit further behind. Hopefully there are no problems. It is just a ghost car. I don't know if anybody can see that in game, but we'll see how that goes. 1.4 seconds is the gap that Charlie has. No DRS available for them, but it's going to be DRS for both Nifo and Heisler. Heisler's going to have the inside line. They're going to go for the move, it looks like, on Nifo. There's almost contact between the two championship contenders. Zingy's going to get involved and try and make this move for himself, but he can't quite get there. Heisler's going to try and hold on, maybe even look to take the racing line. It's so close between the two of them. Now they have the inside line through No Name, and they could even lose DRS if they're not careful. This is silly squabbling from the both of them. They're trying to stay ahead of one another, but it's never going to work, and they're still going through Puan as Heisler will go off the circuit, and Zingy's only going to lose positions. Ticey's now involved. They're looking to try and take the momentum around the outside, but they're going to get closed off from Zingy. That is very, very close stuff right there. Zingy just about holds on, and all of a sudden, now they've lost DRS range, both of them. So yeah, a little bit disappointing right there to see that battle now, because the two Mercedes, once again I'll say this season, it's a Mercedes 1-2, but it's in no DRS for either of them, and no DRS for the next car either. So we've got a hell of a train, and they're all going to be ploughing into the bus stop chicane, and it's Zingy to the inside line with Heisler ahead. He's going to have to obey what the McLaren does racing line-wise, and they've got Simaxon, who's ahead of Ticey now. Ticey's going to try and have a go back to the inside line before they get to the Kemmel Straight. Can they get the better exit? Can they get the job done? No, they can't. Simaxon on that medium tyre is still making it work, despite that grip slowly going away from them. They've then got Frantic right behind, who will be looking to try and make a move at some point if it's possible. Tom Robb, the only car or the next car to not have DRS than it is JJ a little bit further behind. Frantic is making the move further ahead though. We've got Zingy making the move on Heischler. Ticey's trying to have a go. Ticey's trying to hold on to Frantic. Heischler gets a time penalty as Zingy goes through. They've gone off track limits and that is going to affect them later on big time if they are not careful. Absolutely crazy stuff here. Only on lap 8 out of 22. Still got way over half this race to go and I don't know what else can happen right here. Everything's happened so far. Charlie leads the way as they still have the advantage. Their tyres aren't going to be that bad. The tyre wear doesn't seem to be that bad around Belgium. So they're going to be almost equal for a long time, but they still have to make that pit stop, which is going to be tragic. They have to go, surely, for a set of softs later on and hope that the tyre just holds on and grips up and allows them to catch up more and more and more. Or maybe hope for a safety car. We'll see if that happens though. We'll see if that happens later on. Once again, everyone just ploughing into the bus stop chicane. It is so tight. It is so tight. We can't really see it, unfortunately, because of the camera angles that we're given. It's so difficult to view. Frantic once again trying to have a go on Ticey, but they just can't get through their fellow countrymen, unfortunately. They just have to wait behind Ticey and that Williams. Although they are a reserve driver, so is Frantic. They're trying to fight it out. Devon Young just watching up ahead as there is a very close battle right there, right behind as well. That is, I believe, was that with maybe the two medium tyre runners? I'm not entirely sure. So Maxon sits right behind this battle here as Zingy will once again lose out to Heischler. Heischler goes through and will take it cleanly here into Le Mans. Frantic's also got the 3 seconds, so has Igor, and so has Tom Robb at this stage of the Grand Prix. I do apologise for the desync that Nabil had today. Really unfortunate for them. Hopefully they can get back into the next race for sure. But yeah, terribly disappointing, of course, for Nabil. 3 seconds is the gap that is between Nifo and Heischler. How will that change throughout the next couple of laps? Of course, it will be a difficult one to predict. Now, the Mercedes guys are more or less exactly the same pace ahead. Heischler, in the meantime, has lost about 2 to 3 tenths to both of the cars ahead as they continue to push on with their might. As this is a massive train, there's so much pressure to try and lead this train right here. Then there is a bit of a gap that we have. Eager Pro 9 tenths behind. They only need to find a little bit more to try and catch up and make that train just a little bit longer. Jerko Willis, of course, and Peanuts following right behind as well. That would be very impressive to see at this stage, but I don't think they've got it. 1.6 seconds Jerko Willis has. I think they've just lost out, unfortunately. Who will not lose out is Zingy, who will probably get a clean run to make that move into the Le Mans chicane, and they will get a nice DRS tow right through there. So Maxon is not going to be in a position to make an overtake right now. We still haven't gone through the pit stops just yet. Well, I say that, we have gone through the pit stops because everyone had to pit except from Charlie and Sir Maxon. They still have to pit at some point in this race. Would we go on to a different set of tyres later on? I don't quite know. Would we see rain come into the later stages? I don't know. I don't believe so, but it's not impossible, if I'm correct in saying from my data. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to double check later on, and I may be thinking, is that what Charlie and Sir Maxon are hoping for after this unfortunate safety car situation? Yeah, Charlie had not really too much option to not pit unless they wanted to be bunched up, of course, behind their teammate. Sir Maxon, they've got no Sauber teammate on the grid, so they didn't really have a reason to not pit. So they must have a reason to... sorry, they didn't really have a reason to, not go into the pit lane. So they must have had a reason to stay out. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That doesn't quite make sense, but it does make sense, you know. Anyway, Zingy has actually managed to push away from Heischler. Heischler doesn't have the DRS. Frantic's made that move on Ticey in the meantime, and now they could be challenging quite potentially Samaxon. And if they're able to get a double slingshot on that hard tyre, they will be in that P5 position, maybe fighting for P4. DRS available for Samaxon. It is just about available there for Heischler as they manage to get a decent few corners, and Zingy may be making a mistake at the same time. I don't quite know what it would have been, but regardless, they've all closed up once again. Frantic almost having a look on Samaxon, but they didn't quite get the job done. They just have to back off for the time being. A little bit further behind, we have got Pursoon, who is at the back of this pack, and they are on that slightly fresher medium tyre. They can go to the end on this Grand Prix, but it's not going to be exactly easy. It is going to be very tough, in fact. But yeah, I don't think they've really got too much of an option, to be honest, as that is Frantic and Ticey making a switch immediately after we momentarily saw Frantic making that move ahead of their rival of this race. Igor just about holding on to DRS range. Then we do have Jericho Willis, and then a big gap between them and Tom, and then we have Peanuts and Tom fighting closely. As Frantic and Pursoon switch, Pursoon making their way through the grid further and further on this medium tyre. They have to try and make more moves, otherwise that tyre is going to drop off later on. As long as they're in the train though, they still have a shot. As long as you're in a train in every situation, you always have a shot. The top two are on an absolute field of their class of their own right now. It's absolutely astonishing. Nifo has managed to catch up. And just to remind you, back in Saudi Arabia, since Saudi Arabia, they had technical difficulties. They have lag spikes all over the place. A few drivers have had this issue. Nifo's one of them, but now they're going to be possibly leading the Belgian Grand Prix. They go off the circuit as their teammate was not willing to budge. They back off a little bit too late. They luckily don't have any more issues other than a few kind of heartbeats extra per minute. That was not the technical term, but it's the term I used. Now, time penalty, there is a time penalty to Charlie, unfortunately. It does mean that it should be more straightforward here for Nifo. 5 seconds to try and take their second win in a row, if they can, would be absolutely incredible. But they're very close to the back of their teammate, who is very slow at this stage of the Grand Prix. Those tyres are hitting a bit of a cliff compared to that fresher compound, I would assume. And of course, not only are they older, but they also had to do the race start. As Charlie goes off the circuit, we were just saying how well they were doing together, just pushing up ahead, but all of a sudden it's completely changed, and I don't know what's happened, but Charlie's just lost out a bit of momentum, and they're struggling to find this again. They need to try a little bit more, dig a bit deeper, but no, they'll dig deep into the pit lane and put on a fresh set of medium tyres to go to the end of this Grand Prix. They weren't going to wait for the softs. That's another time penalty there for Tom Rob. But now that pit stop has occurred. Charlie goes out of the points, and Nifo into P1 with 4.9 seconds to Heischler. 5 seconds gap right now. That is absolutely crazy. Zingy and Heischler are going to try and catch up with the DRS train, but I don't think it's going to be quite so simple. It's going to be a tough one. Zingy goes through. Everyone else is so close. We're going to get Frantic trying to have a go on Samaxon, but in turn Samaxon completely misses their breaking point, and that is Pursoon going off. They lose out big time. That will be Igor on the back of them. Devon Young is, I don't know what happened to Devon, but they have lost out a little bit. They're now back into this battle for sure. Samaxon's tyres are going completely off. Pursoon is very lucky to still be in this one. That is our second retirement, this time in the pit lane, as Tom Rob will leave that there, leave the race there on lap 13. Pursoon might be looking to try and get a time penalty removed here, I do believe, because they just got it was at a 10 second they must have got, unless that was for speeding the pit lane, and they just got a 3 second. We'll have to check that one later on. But yeah, that is a very tough situation. Pursoon went off the circuit and is obviously trying to argue their position is legitimate on the circuit right here. Everyone was bunching up and it all went to the boiling point and bubbled over. It was super tough. Super tough is Sir Maxon's tyre situation as they dive into the pit lane lap after Charlie. Despite being on the more wear-prone tyre, it will bring Charlie back into the points as Sir Maxon will inevitably drop out. They'll go on to maybe the softs themselves. I don't think they'll go on to the hards. Are they going to the softs? No, they are going to the hards, so they're going to look to try and push to the absolute maximum all the way to the end. They are possibly going to lose this position to JJ. JJ will not actually gain it, but they will have warm tyres, and I believe they'll get a DRS here as well. So they will be able to give a little bit of a challenge. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, Pursuit's found himself in P2. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Not that I doubt Pursuit could do that, but I didn't expect them in the situation that they were in just a lap ago to be in P2. Zingy was maybe not so happy weaving left and right that Pursuit was ahead of them. I don't quite know what the body language is there, but Ticey sits behind. Pursuit does have that time penalty. Regardless of if they're both legit or one of them is legit, they still, I assume, would have at least a 3-second, if not at least a 10-second. So, Zingy and Ticey will have an advantage in that regard. But we will see if that is the case, of course, post-race. Now, maybe that's why Pursuit's pushed to be in this P2 spot, but 6.1 seconds, as these guys have fought, they've lost out more time to Nifo, who is already in the bus stop chicane as these guys go through Blanchimont. So, difficult situation as everyone is trying to figure out what to do here. We've got a hell of a train between Pursuit and it is Devon Young at the back of this pack. Then we've got Jericho Willis, who's on their own effectively, with Charlie and Sir Maxon trying to catch back up. But that is a big gap between Sir Maxon and Charlie. That is Ticey and Heischler making a switch of positions, as Ticey will make that move and Heischler will just have to let that one go. They've got 6/10 to the car ahead and they will be able to gain that back once again, or is Heischler going to try and regain that position on Ticey? Is that the smart move here? Well, luckily for Heischler, Ticey allows it to happen. If they didn't allow that to happen, then it would have been a big time loss and they could have both lost out. That is an incredible shot right there as Ticey just slides through the corner on the exit of the chicane. Up to the curb, it can be very difficult if you go a little bit too far, and you will then bottom out and possibly lose out a few positions. Usually you don't spin, you just can't go anywhere. You just have to let the curb take you and then hope that you get off it safely. Anyway, lap 15 out of 22. We are coming towards the end game of this race. Still a long way to go, however. It is a long lap, as I said earlier on, so don't count anything out just yet. That is another time penalty, unfortunately. That is Igor P7 at the moment. They are in the DRS train at least, so that is a good thing for their case, of course. Looking at the time penalties, we've got 13 seconds for Pursuit, 3 seconds for Heischler, 3 seconds for Frantic, and for Charlie, and then 6 seconds now for Eager Pro. Now, this is currently a relaxation phase, I would suggest. That being said, Devon Young goes for the move here on the inside of Igor, but doesn't quite get the job done. I think they had a car ahead of them that they had to try and make sure that they didn't hit, unless I'm completely seeing that wrong, but they didn't quite get the exit, and that's a big exit to lose out on. 5/10 from making an overtake attempt. I don't quite know what happened there, unless it was a misjudged braking point and they accidentally went to the inside and they just weren't able to get the exit together. I don't know, but yeah, that was an interesting one right there for Devon, trying to make their way through the pack, but just not quite finding it so simple. Igor not close, but holding on to DRS every lap. They just need to try and find a little bit more if they want to start challenging for those moves. That is going to be Ticey looking to the inside of Heischler. Heischler lets it happen, but that is an interesting one to do. Heischler just having an issue on the exit of No Name, and it does mean Ticey goes through. He does a little bit of a defensive throw, as Frantic was almost looking like he was going to try and go for a move. Now, making that defensive throw has only lost them a little bit more time to Ticey. Not enough to really be looked into too severely, but it does mean that maybe Frantic has an opportunity, a gap ahead, to go for that outbraking maneuver. If you've got clean air up ahead, even if it's a little bit, it suddenly makes it easier for the car behind to be able to go for the outbraking maneuver, and they're gonna go to the outside line. They can brake as late as they want. Heischler brakes even later, and they will hold on to the position just about. They do need to fight this. Usually in a train, if you want to work together, you don't want to fight. Lap 17 out of 22, where the cars are close together, you do want to fight it, and Frantic is trying to find a way through here and there. They just can't find it. They're maybe losing a little bit of focus as they just lose the car slightly. They need to try and regroup and they'll be good to go. That is Devon Young, who has lost out DRS range here. It will be Charlie catching up. Jericho Willis is not too far away, actually, so they could be brought into this a little bit later on. We'll see. We're going to get a switch up with Zingy and Pursoon in the meantime. Now, what I want to say is Charlie's going to be catching up. They're probably going to be making that move on Devon very soon, and then they will be trying to possibly carry Devon with them, whether that be intentional or not. I think Devon is going to probably follow along with Charlie, and then Igor will be right there. I don't know if Devon's got damage, but they have lost out a lot of time since trying to go for that move. 2.6 seconds. I think they just made another mistake. So Charlie is going to be a bit of a lifeline to try and make that happen, and they're going to let them go. They're going to let them go quite early on, but I think that is the smart thing to do. I don't think they should fight Charlie. They need to just try and follow on if they possibly can, because that will be a huge benefit to catch up to this pack that now does see Frantic ahead of Eager Pro in the end. I say ahead of Eager Pro in the end. They were trying to fight Heischler, but they didn't get the move done. They're now 6/10 behind Heischler. Heischler holds on, but they've got 9/10 to the cars ahead, who are going very quick. That is Zingy, Pursoon, Ticey, all as a trio, working very effectively despite the car behind being within DRS range. It does seem to be that they're almost pushing the car behind out of DRS. But, of course, when it gets to the slower speed corners, it does mean that it's virtually impossible to break away. So Heischler will catch up. That is one hell of a camera shot right there. Anyway, we continue. And Ticey sits P3 in this train. Would they try and challenge for a move? Would Pursoon try and challenge for the move? They are definitely going for it, but they're not going to really get a clean shot at going for the racing line. So not the optimal strategy right there. I don't think Zingy was expecting them to go for that move, but they did so in the end. It will mean that everyone is close. Now, Devon Young loses out more time, and they now go over track limits, unfortunately. Not on the exit of 7, but it must have been on the entry to the Lacombe chicane, and they're not able to hold on to Charlie, who is making progress here on catching up to Frantic. Still a bit of a way to go. They could still get a good result here, but with the time penalty, it's going to make it so difficult, of course. They are relative to a few drivers on track regarding making positions, so that's actually not too bad. In all fairness, they'll be on exactly the same playing field as a lot of the drivers here. Zingy, Ticey and Niffer, the only ones not to be on that same playing field, of course. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out time penalty wise, but Charlie, if that's the case, then still can get a very good result despite having issues. Overall, it's a shame because they were in the position to fight for a win, but it is what it is, I think, and they've just got to be happy that they were in the fight earlier on. The slightly disadvantaged strategy that they've been put on to prioritise their teammate in the end, they are making the best out of a bad situation and currently doing a very good job, as they are already on the back of Frantic as we speak, and they're gonna be making that move. Was that a good move or not? I don't quite know. I don't know if they would have got DRS right there. They could be in trouble. Did they get DRS? It was very, very close, but they do just about get it. Frantic will get it as well. Will they try and switch positions? I don't think they will. They're going to try and work together here. That's Ticey in P3 of the Grand Prix as they go ahead of Pursoon. Zingy and Pursoon were switching positions for so long, but now the new duo is Ticey and Zingy to switch in the train. Pursoon wasn't able to make it work in the end. They've lost that position now to the Williams car. Ticey's thought, you know what? I've waited behind enough. I'm now going to be going for the move. We're on lap 19 out of 22. We've not got a long way to go. I want to be P2 in this train to try and get P2 in this race. So I have to try and make some decisions here. And of course, regarding that these guys both have no time penalties compared to Pursoon, who does, it's going to be an interesting one. And they have to try and fight each other regardless of where Pursoon is, instead of fighting Pursoon as a relative car, of course. That was very close between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes. Charlie trying to make moves here and there, but they can't quite find their way through. They have a lot of pace in that car with those tyres. They need to make sure that they use them, but they use them correctly. If they don't use them correctly, then they may end up using so much performance that they misjudge it and end up crashing into the back of another car. That is what you risk when being on much fresher tyres compared to other cars. They've got a much better exit, but they've had to back off the throttle because the exit was so good. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Once again, welcome to F1 24 with the bugs. We've got a car stuck on track. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. Charlie not going to be able to make a move in the DRS train on a straight line. It's all about the grip. It's going to be Pursoon looking to make the move as they're once again ahead of Ticey. And they are P3, not able to get to P2. They lag back as unfortunately, once again, that is going to be an alt-tab situation there for Pursoon. That is tragic. Again, more issues for this man. Microsoft Edge is absolutely killing their races. It just happens when they're in a good position. It's so devastating. I don't know what to say. They're going to let Devon go. I think they've given up, unfortunately, on these final few laps of the Grand Prix. That is not what you want to see happen. What a shame there for Pursoon. What a shame. Nifo currently 9 seconds ahead of the pack. Then we've got Zingy, as that is going to be Heichler losing out in the background. And they are Ghost Car. They don't have damage, but they're down to P7. They're down to P7. They lost to Charlie, who's made that brilliant comeback. And on 3 seconds of time penalties also, that is a legitimate position. Absolutely incredible stuff that we've just seen right there. Crazy. For Heichler's sake, that's devastating, and I do not want to see this at all, but they're still in this championship battle. Frantic, I don't know what's happened there, but they've allowed Heichler to go back through. Heichler locks up the rears into La Source. They're just losing a bit more time. They need to try and focus if they want to make these positions once more. We're on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. They have to focus here. Charlie sits P4 with optimal tyres. They're looking to try and finish P2 and make it a Mercedes 1-2. Zingy's trying to hold on to that P2 in the train if they can. Ticey's trying to make it another good result from what they had in Saudi Arabia. They're trying to get time penalties removed for that one. We'll try and get those reports out very soon within the next couple of days. Of course, now not making a move in the mid part of the lap. They're looking to wait until the final lap and they will then go for it. Where do you go for the move though? The Kemmel straight or the back straight on the last lap of the Grand Prix? Well, Zingy's going to have a few things to say about that, as that is going to be Ticey going through. Was that a tactical throw there from Zingy? I don't quite know, but I think Ticey was just making that move. So an interesting one, but Zingy obviously turned off the battery and just allowed that position to be lost. Ticey not willing to let that go, because if they do let that go, then all of a sudden, or if they just slow down, then they might even lose positions to Charlie, who is going to be wanting to make that move on them, of course, because they want to be P2 in this train. Everyone wants to be in P2 in this train. The race leader starts the final lap of the Grand Prix. These guys are coming through the bus stop chicane. It's going to be Ticey who will lead the train for the final time. Into turn one they go. Who will exit the Lacombe chicane ahead? However, Ticey leads for now. Zingy is most likely going to be making that move because they're going to get masses of pressure here from Charlie. Charlie's going to want to try and make that move on Blanchimont, but they have to get one car at least on this straight. Otherwise, it's all over. Here comes Charlie to the outside line. It's 3 wide. It's so close. Charlie's been blocked. They can't do anything about it. To the inside line, Charlie goes. Absolute incredible scenes right there. Zingy's ahead for the moment, but they're trying to get alongside as Ticey. Charlie somehow is not ahead, and I don't know what's just happened. That's going to be Heichler, who's completely missed their braking point and collided with Egapro. Frantic lets it happen. They let that go. They're looking to maybe make a move a little bit later on. I don't quite know, but Ticey is once again going ahead into Pouon, as I don't believe what I've just seen. Ticey almost managed to get ahead of Zingy. Zingy just about managed to stay ahead. He needed to try and get that done, because otherwise Charlie would be able to go through and it would be game over for Zingy. But Ticey has now got a lot to think about. Do they have the ERS to fight for this position and make it work? I do not know. It's going to be crazy. Nifo is going to win once again in LSI back-to-back victories. They win the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely incredible. We've got Ticey, though, who is holding on for the moment. But no, Zingy's got it into the bus stop chicane. And oh, Charlie's made contact. They spin. Heichler comes through and makes it P4. Absolutely incredible. I don't believe what I've just seen. Frantic to P5, Egapro in P6, and then we will get Devon Young, Jericho Willis, Simaxon. Charlie doesn't take the points. They refuse to take the points and they retire in the pit lane, which is very strange, I will be honest. But that is absolutely crazy. I don't quite know what happened. I want to see the replay for that one there with Charlie and Zingy. But that was one of the craziest races I've seen, and with time penalties applied, that's almost a 12-second gap that this man has managed to get to the rest of the field. They had a safety margin, and they didn't have anyone to fight, whereas the other cars were fighting all the way. And it looked pretty tasty. Nifo takes the win, Zingy in P2. Then we've got Ticey, Heichler, Frantic, Igor, Devon, Jericho Willis, Simaxon, Peanuts, Bassoon, JJ, and then Charlie in the end. Then we had DNFing earlier on Tom Rob. We had disconnecting Nabil, and we had Vixal in P16 disconnecting as well. Charlie with that fastest lap, of course, with that later pit stop sequence that they did so. And they won't, unfortunately, score that fastest lap point. They will score. Actually, I need to double check that, because did they cross the line as a non-retired car? I believe they may have done so. So we'll double check and see that. I just want to try and make sure I have got the race director just in case, and then we will go through the results once again just to make sure we get everything along with the time penalty situation for everyone. And then we will be back for the post-race interview, so we will see you in a bit. If you are watching the full race replay, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Hello everyone, welcome to the post-race interviews of the Belgian Grand Prix. That was absolutely crazy. Everything happened. I don't know what to say, there's so much to unpack. Heisler, that was a tough one. A very, very difficult one. First of all, a great qualifying. Really well done on that one. Just didn't quite go the way you wanted it. How did that safety car affect your race?
Best lap ever. Start all soft. Safety car ruined it. Nifo easy win. End.
Fair enough. Can you take us through your race a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that lap was great. Really good. That was really good. That was one of my best laps ever. But after that, I decided to start on softs, but apparently softs are not as good in online as in offline, so I made the wrong choice there. Safe car didn't really ruin anything. I said it ruined the race, but it's more that people in train decide to fight each other. I've heard from Zingy, I was in call with him, that he didn't really intend to fight me that much when Nifo overtook him, but it was just people behind him who are intending to overtake, so it was a bit annoying. I don't understand why people just can't be patient in a train, because usually those moments where you can overtake will come. So that helped Nifo massively. I also just didn't have the pace on the hards. I did lower my front wing for the race, assuming I did a soft medium strategy, and didn't consider the hards when I just had too much understeer in like the second apex of Piff Puff, and also that right hander, the downhill one, that's really understeery. I don't know if you know what I mean, but yeah. So I didn't really have much space either, but it's annoying that people don't know how trains work and just don't want to work together.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, but sometimes it's just the way it goes, and you have to just race accordingly. Yeah, really tough for that one. Just quickly, I want to ask, where do you think you'd have ended up if the safety car didn't come out? With the strategy.
Where did I finish? P5, P4 or P5? P4, I think, right?
I think it was P4.
If safety car didn't came out. That's a tough one. But I know if I didn't lose DRS to Nifo, I would have probably been P4 still. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you very much. Hungary, that's a very, very different circuit, a short circuit and a high downforce circuit. There's going to be a lot of rotation required for that one, and the tyres are going to be very different as well. How do you think that's going to go?
I mean, I need to stop being so stubborn with using a bit too unnecessary setups for my liking, and just take a little bit of more risk with the front. So I think I will be better for Hungary.
Fair enough. Well done. Well, good effort. Well done to stay in it. You still scored a decent amount of points, and it's not over yet. Thank you very much, Heish, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And we move on to Charlie. Charlie, that was super tough. Obviously, a brilliant qualifying, right up there in the top three. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go so to plan. Did you not consider pitting behind your teammate, or was that really not an option for you?
I mean, like, pitting from hards doesn't really make sense on lap 3.
Oh, sorry,
like,
you were on hards originally, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
my bad.
I would either have to pit on mediums or softs, which like doesn't make sense at all, because then I had to pit again. So I just stayed out on hards, and I don't know, like the safety car just ruined everything, because instead of just, you know, staying in P5 or P4 or whatever it was after lap 1, I could just chill, because as far as I know, hards to mediums is the best strategy. So I could just wait it out until others had like their tires worn, and then start pushing. But then the safety car just ruined everything, and I had to push like all the time to, you know, stay in front, stay out of the DRS. And then pit onto mediums, and then I had to push again to catch up to everybody, and then by the last lap I was P4, which I was gonna be happy with, because I think after the safety car that was gonna be like the best I could have gotten. But AC moved under braking and into the chicane, and I just tapped him and spun out. So I mean, there's no point in finishing a race when everybody is packed up. I have a 3 seconds penalty, and I'm out of the points already, so I just retired.
You would have stayed in the points because all the other cars had time penalties as well. But oh well, it's the
but
way
it's
it
just,
goes.
It's just fucking frustrating. Like, there's no point in doing anything if I'm gonna get a result like that again. Like, why do I even bother? Honestly, like. Another race, like, either ruined by someone else or by a safety car. It just doesn't end. Like, I don't know when it will end, but yeah.
Hungary is a tough one. Do you think you can do well there?
Not I'm not good at Hungary, so
Well,
I don't know. I'll try to practice and we'll see.
We'll see. Good luck there. Thank you very much. Unlucky today, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And we move on to Samatson. Samatson, also tough with your strategy. You were right in the battle for a long time, but obviously pitting later on, it was going to make it difficult anyway. You still gave it a good shot. Can you take us through your race?
Yeah, I was around the top. Yeah, before the safety car, then the safety car came out, and I think, third. Yeah, a third mistake this season, like this, of not pitting just under the safety car.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the race was just hoping for another one, and it didn't happen. Yeah, before pitting I also managed to murder Pursuit. Yeah.
Make that sound as if it was an intention. I assume it wasn't.
It wasn't.
If the safety car didn't happen, where do you think you would have finished?
Maybe P5. Yeah, I would say like P5 would be around the minimum, and it would depend on the penalties of the top guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Well, with all of that done, it still give you good preparation ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, at least that shows that I have some quality pace, and on the hards I think I was one of the fastest ones without the DRS, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Well, good luck tomorrow. I hope it goes well. Hungary, as I've said to everyone else, it's a very, very different circuit, and the tyres are going to be very different. It might even be that if there is an early safety car, and strategies are a bit different, because of the high downforce, you all of a sudden get a bit more of a benefit from being on fresher tyres, even if it's not the optimal pit window. Are you confident for that one?
No, as I said before, the last 3 races of the season are the tracks that I don't really like driving on, so it will be tough, just like today.
Yeah, it will be, but you've got some good preparation today ready for tomorrow, so good luck there. I hope it goes well, and really good effort today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we move on to Tom. Tom, not entirely sure what happened there. Do you have some issues in the race?
Yeah, first of all, I just had a completely horrendous qualifying session. Completing one lap which was full of mistakes, and then for some strange reason my game dropped to like 10 FPS. So it was completely undrivable, and I just decided to leave and join again, so it was maybe better for the race. Yeah, so I started in last, got better frames during the race, but I was just stuck behind all the slow drivers who just don't know how to race. So we lost DS early. Then was sent into the wall in lap 2, so I was just so far behind. Was really happy about the safety car, cause I was back into the race theoretically, and I felt like I've got good pace for the race. Like in the practice race before, I was slightly faster than Devon, so I felt really confident. Yeah, and then was stuck again behind a slow driver, lost 3 seconds in under 2 laps. So I tried to catch back up, but it's just so hard without DRS compared to the S train. But I think I managed to get quite good lap times. But because I was just pushing so much, I just spun the first time. So I had to pit because I've got a broken front wing. Then I just couldn't generate any grip or tire attempts with a fresh set of medium. So I crashed again, and because I was like a minute behind after the next pit stop, with no set of fresh tire in case of a safety car, I was just so fed up because I knew what would have been possible that I just decided to stop racing for the day.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I'm sorry to see that happen. Hungary, it's a different circuit. Are you more confident around Hungary, and if you don't have any more FPS issues, do you think you can get a good result?
I think I showed great pace in like, what was it, like summer season or so. And if I can carry it over to the next time Hungary, I feel pretty confident. Obviously, we've got a new setup meta. Hopefully, it doesn't change much for me in terms of pace. But I just feel really confident also with the total amount of track limits I could get there. That should be kind of low because if you're just slightly off, it's just no grip. So you have to focus on staying on there. So I feel I can get a really, really good result, but probably gonna be happy if I get P10 or higher.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. I hope it goes well next time, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, Tom. And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, welcome back, first of all. That was pretty crazy. Wasn't easy. Racing every single lap. I will ask, of course, what the safety car meant for your race. But P2 in the end, are you happy with that?
No, not really. I know I've not played the game for ages, and I know I'm not going to be on pace as I was before, but I do believe I could have won that race, given the chance. I think the safety car really did mess up my race because it put everyone on the same strategy to the end, and the pack was really tight and it never really spread out once again. So you had people like Tracy, Frantic, Igor and that all behind us attacking us, especially Tracy. He really wanted to get ahead, so we just kept on losing time upon time. Me and Haj were talking, we did want to work together, we did for a few laps, but at the end of the day, TC really wanted to get ahead and we end up losing 10 seconds in F1, but that's not to take anything away from his race. He drove very well, and that's why he won, better than any of us, so I just look forward, I guess. Hungary's next, I should say, and I think, unless me and F1 have an incident at turn 5 again, then I think we should be okay.
I've had an incident with him at turn 4. You've had an incident at turn 5. It's turn 6 next, I think. Maybe turn 3. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Thank you very much, Siggy. That was a lot of crazy action. So thank you very much for that. Very entertaining. Yeah, Hungary. Do you have a lot of confidence around there? Historically, is it a better circuit than Belgium for you?
Oh no, definitely. Hungary's, I mean, F123, F122, you know, me and F4 are very quick there. He's going to be the one that I need to watch out for, I think. Obviously, Haj will be in the fight. I think it'll be us three once again fighting for the top positions, but I hope, and I believe that I will be better than F4 around Hungary, so hopefully I can get that win that I've been looking for.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. I look forward to it. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo. Nifo, a short view back to the past. 9 races ago, you lost out to fight for the victory. A race later, you also lost out to fight for the victory. But we then go to Belgium, and you've now won 2 races in a row. Can you take us through your race, and how are you feeling at the moment with the championship in a very good position?
Yeah, I mean, it started horribly, because I wanted to start on the softs, because I knew that, I knew I probably wouldn't qualify very high up, and from testing, like the hards, like they could go a long way, and I felt like if there was an early safety car, like I couldn't go on the hards, and I felt like soft medium was better than medium soft or medium hard, so I made the decision, but that meant I could only use 2 tires because my brilliant self chose balanced, so I only had 3 softs, so I did my first 2 runs on 1 set of tires, and I immediately saw like, oh, I'm off. And then on my final run, I was like 4 tenths up going into the final corner, and I don't know if I clipped the grass or just broke too hard because I was nervous and I lost the rear end. And I mean, you start in P8, and I was like, oh well, that's it, you know, because it's Spa, like it's chaos always Interlacon. But I mean, I started on the softs as the only one except for Gijs, so I had a really good start. I think by lap 3 I was P2, and then the safety car came out, which was in hindsight great. So yeah, I just pitted onto the hards, and then from then on it was just driving my own race. At a certain point, people started battling behind, lost the DRS, and then I didn't really push. I was just like trying to not get time penalties and just, you know, keep it clean, because with the stutters I'm having, like if I push all the way, like, and I get one stutter in a weird place, like I'm dead, I'm in the wall. Yeah, other than that, I think everything went well. Felt like my teammate could have let me go on the straight though, but you know, it happens. It didn't really matter in the end. But yeah, I mean, I don't have nothing to say really. It was just a good race. I did everything I wanted to. I just wanted to pull 10 seconds. So if I did something wrong, which I don't think I did, penalties wouldn't matter for my position. So yeah, I'm delighted. I didn't think that would happen. It's not particularly a great track for me, but yeah, the result was good. And yeah, obviously the championship is looking well, probably the best in my LSI history. So I'm quite happy.
And going to a circuit that historically you have had pretty good performances at least fighting for the victory pretty much almost every time we've been there. Of course, back in F1 22, it was absolutely some incredible scenes that we've seen. Do you think you can do well there? Very, very different circuit once again, high downforce. Will that suit you? And like suspension-wise, are you looking for more rotation, or you look for understeer for a bit more stability? Obviously, that's a bit secret, really. I shouldn't say that.
Well, I think it's not no secret that I do like more stability than turn in, because I'm somewhat of a I'm not very good at controlling the rear end of the car, so if it's not stable, I'll struggle. And I think in the past it was okay. 22, I think 23 I really struggled with the track, and even 24 I think when I raced there it was not really my best track. It was obviously not helped by an optimistic driver going for a move into turn 4, but
Don't recall.
yeah, I don't think the pace is that great on Hungary. I think it's a track where pure pace really shines. You can't really follow a DRS. I think it's quite it's not really in my skill set, but if there's a safety car, there might be chaos again, and I think in the races where there have been chaos, I have scored good results, so it might work out in the end, but I don't know. We'll just wait and see what happens.
The Chaos Master. Thank you very much. Really well done today. Really good effort. Well played as well. And we'll see you next time in Hungary. Thank you very much. And that's been it. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow for the watch-alongs for the sprint race and for qualifying for the Qatar Grand Prix. We'll see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU Championship. I cannot wait. Once again, we'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.